What's up guys, today's video is on the top 3 best camera phones in 2024. Through extensive research and testing, I've put together a list of options that'll meet the needs of different types of buyers, so whether it's price, performance or its particular use, we've got you covered. For more information on the products, I've included links in the description box down below which are updated for the best prices. Now let's get started. Number 3. Apple iPhone 15 Pro Max. The iPhone 15 Pro Max features new materials, upgraded components, terrific cameras, and top-of-the-line performance, making it one of the best smartphones you can buy. To start, there's a new shape and material for the frame. Gone are the severe angles and stainless steel of the 14 Pro Max in favor of slightly rounded edges and titanium. Apple says the titanium is stronger and lighter. We haven't tested the former, but the latter is certainly true. The 15 Pro Max weighs 7.81 ounces, which is notably less than the 14 Pro Max's 8.47 ounces. This may not seem like a lot, and yet the real-world difference is stark. Apple has upgraded the Pro iPhones this year with an action button, which replaces the ringer switch. By default, the action button still controls the ringer, and a long press will toggle the phone between silent and ring modes. The dynamic island contains the user-facing camera as well as the module that powers Face ID. The Face Unlock tool is the only biometric security option offered by the iPhone, and it's one of the industry's best. It works quickly and consistently to unlock the phone in a variety of lighting conditions. Each iPhone 15 has the same 48MP main camera sensor, and Apple is doing something interesting this year. Typically, smartphone makers would bin a 48MP sensor down by a factor of 4 to create brighter 12MP images. Here, Apple is combining a bin 12MP shot with a full-size 48MP frame into a single 24MP image that Apple claims has more detail while retaining good low-light performance. iPhone 15 owners can opt to take full-resolution pictures in HEIF and ProRAW if they wish. For the iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max, Apple is allowing owners to tweak this main camera further. Thanks to the size of the 48MP sensor, the Pro lets creators dial in the equivalents of 24mm, 1x, 28mm, 1.2x, and 35mm, 1.5x lenses, which are standard primes, and quickly jump between them. You have to enable this in the settings. Finally, for the main camera, Apple says it can capture 2x optical zoom photos by using the central 12MP of the sensor. It claims this method produces 2x zoomed photos that are as sharp as those taken with an approximate 2x a glass lens. The third camera of the iPhone 15 Pro Max has a 5x optical telephoto lens at the equivalent of 120mm at f2.8. This is made possible by a tetraprism to bend and extend the incoming light, as well as a new 3D sensor shift optical image stabilization module that keeps things steady at the greater focal length. The smaller iPhone 15 Pro has a 3x optical telephoto lens at the equivalent of 77mm. Apple doesn't specify the size of iPhone batteries, but the lithium-ion power cell is likely around 4,400 mAh, which is less than the 5,000 mAh capacity of many premier Android phones. Number 2. Google Pixel 8 Pro. The Pixel 8 Pro is the best Pixel that Google has ever made, and it represents Google's vision for the future of mobile technology, though that vision does seem a bit clouded and unfocused at times. It has a fantastic display that's bigger and brighter than its competitors at this price, and the photography features, bolstered by Google's machine learning, are unmatched by any other phone maker. Some of the new AI features are cool and useful, but some are a bit weird, even off-putting, and the phone suffers from the worst Android tendencies. But Google is committed to this phone for 7 years in terms of updates, longer than ever before, so there's plenty of time for improvement, and the hardware gives Google a great platform to build up from. This is also Google's most ambitious Pixel yet, with some serious camera upgrades that will satisfy even pro photogs, and a Tensor G3 chipset custom-built to run Google's machine learning features. If Google had simply released a generic smartphone with the Pixel 8 Pro's cameras, display, and design, it would have had a simple winner, capable of making an argument against not-quite flagships like the Samsung Galaxy S24 Plus or the Apple iPhone 15 Pro. The Pixel 8 Pro is more rounded on the corners and more flat on the display. This makes the phone easier to hold, while also giving you a better view of your content. The finish is lovely, and the colors are more classy and inviting than unusual and modern. The main camera on the Pixel 8 Pro is considerably better than the camera on the Pixel 7 Pro, but the improvements can be hard to explain. The lens on the camera has a f1.65 aperture, which is wider than the f1.9 aperture in last year's lens, and while the number is lower, a wider aperture is better because it lets in more light, and the improvement is exponential and not linear. The f1.65 lens on the Pixel 8 Pro is an amazing feat, while the f1.9 aperture on last year's Pixel 7 Pro was a thoroughly unimpressive spec. The numbers are confusing, and it's just not an easy spec to boast about. The iPhone 15 Pro uses an f1.8 lens on its main camera, which won't let as much light through, but of course there are plenty of other factors to consider. Compared to my iPhone 15 Pro Max, some photos look better when shot with the Pixel 8 Pro, but others, especially night pics and low-light images, look better taken with the iPhone. That's surprising, but there are still some reasons for Google to brag. Macro photography is better on the Pixel 8 Pro than on the iPhone. Battery life on Pixel phones gets better every year, and I'm happy to report that the Pixel 8 Pro had no trouble lasting through a full day of use. Number 1. Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra. Even with a price increase, the Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra proves its worth as one of the best phones, setting new records for a flagship phone in key areas such as battery life, screen brightness, and processing performance. Add to that the slew of helpful Galaxy AI features packaged with the phone, and it's a powerhouse that will actually save you on time. Look quick, and you might not notice the design changes Samsung made to the Galaxy S24 Ultra. Most notably, the new model ditches its predecessor's armor aluminum frame for a titanium one, which bolsters durability, and in this case, leads to a lighter package as well. That's exactly what the Galaxy S24 Ultra is packing, a 6.8-inch QHD Plus Dynamic AMOLED 2X display that is rich in detail, offers outstanding viewing angles and vibrant colors. There's very little doubt of AI permeating into everything in our lives, our phone included, which is why Samsung's taking a proactive approach in giving its users access to new capabilities with Galaxy AI. Strangely enough, many of these AI-assisted features are in collaboration with Google, which raises the question of who's really making the innovations here. Live Translate is one of the more practical Galaxy AI features I've tried out. It turns the Galaxy S24 Ultra into a translator during phone calls and supports 13 different languages out of the gate. This one's a perfect showcase for the power of artificial intelligence because it's doing translations in real time, with minimal delay. Samsung hasn't changed much with the S24 Ultra's camera system, but it's not all the same either. Spicing things up is a new 5x telephoto camera that replaces the 10x module of the last generation, that way you'd be getting both 5x and 10x zoom shots. The rest of the setup has been carried over, including the 200MP primary unit that bins 16 pixels into one, and the only ultra-wide camera with autofocus in the Galaxy lineup. Not to be disrespecting that ultra-wide, but it's not a particularly large sensor unit, and other than the iPhone 15 Pros, pretty much every other phone at this level has more competent hardware. The 3x telephoto is also on the small size, but since the setup is such that it's not really being used for further zooming, we won't be complaining too much. The S24 Ultra's main camera takes great-looking photos, as expected. The detail is excellent and it's rendered in a relatively natural way, certainly more natural than what the S23 Ultra has been doing in the past months. The S24 Ultra's processing still isn't as laid back as that on the S24 and S24 Plus, and there's a bit more sharpening here, which we'd call the optimum middle ground. Some people would say the S24s are too soft for their own good. All versions of the Galaxy S24 Ultra are powered by the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3, the chipset built with AI in mind. The Galaxy S24 Ultra, one of the most powerful phones ever created, but it's leading the way for flagships in the battery. It came with 5000 mAh battery. Thanks for watching. Like the video and don't forget to subscribe.